years of friendship.
Yeah, that's
would you be able to throw away 14 years of friendship over?
But you need to renew your contract. Okay.
Why don't you renew your vows? Yours is vows, mine is contract.
Everyone, welcome back to another episode of We Are Theo
#Figuring It Out.
Yep, I hope you've enjoyed our previous episodes, and this being Women's Month.
Yes.
And happy Women's Month to every woman out there. Did you know that 50% of people who listen to us are women? So thank you all for being part of our community, and this episode is dedicated to Women's Month, just to be able to celebrate the women who inspire us. And to also allow you to also share with us who are the women who inspire you. So I hope that you will enjoy this short but sweet conversation. Welcome.
Well, happy belated Women's Day.
Yeah.
To every woman that's listening to us, and some of the men.
We won't mention names.
All right. So today, I'm the host in this episode. So how do you feel being a guest?
Very nervous.
Because you don't know how I'm going to control everything.
Yeah. I feel like it might be a bit hectic, but I trust you.
Well, trust goes both ways. Anyway, today we are going to have a conversation regarding inclusion, inspiring inclusion for women in the workplace, regarding the Women's Day that we are celebrating. And to start us off, Bambo, if you could tell me, what does inspiring inclusion means to you?
Inspire inclusion.
Yeah.
When I think of that, I think inspire, so like motivate or put people or show people that they can be in certain spaces. So, for example, like in the workforce, I have women who inspire me. And the way they inspire inclusion is that they speak my names in other spaces so that other people know I am capable of ABCD. So they inspire me being included in certain conversations, in certain meetings, So I feel like for me, inspire inclusion is people who intentionally motivate for you to be added somewhere or to be part of something, so you're not left out, if that makes sense.
Yes, that does make sense.
And you?
Now, I do support what you have said, but the aspect that I was looking at, because inclusion goes not only in workplaces, it goes to the most basic thing as, say you're organizing an event and your friends, if they include you in the planning, that statement about, if I'm not invited, I won't go, that kind of setting. Say it's an event and then you part of the planning process, you've been included from the beginning. They've gotten maybe insights and views from you regarding whatever they want to do. That is inclusion. So that extends all the way to employment. That explains to also regarding how someone speaks about you in a room you're not in.
Exactly.
So that one applies to what you said, where your boss mentions your name in spaces that you're not in. That way they know that you participated. Maybe they know that you should be included in that section. So that is, for me, that is what I would say is inspiring inclusion.
Yeah, I also think just to add, it also is something like somebody being able to do something. So like, for example, I guess we recently have, but you'll see that later. So like Dr. Anita being able to converse around contraceptives, which is a conversation we get to view on later in the year, inspires other women to be able to take up responsibility for like their health.
Yeah.
So also somebody being in a certain space, like for example, our what do I call her? I've forgotten the name. But ladies such as Sylvia Mulinge, the fact that they are able to run a big organization like MTN, that in itself inspires inclusion, because it means that somebody can look and be like, okay, I think we'd rather hire a woman because there are certain statistics that have been shown that women-led organizations performs slightly better than male-led organizations. So in the fact that you are within your femininity and your womanhood and you're owning it inspires people to take notice and give other women the space and time to be able to do that. Yeah. So I think there's also that aspect of inspiring inclusion. Like it's just you being in yourself and accepting yourself and doing things that make you happy, that make the society a better place, inspires other people to be like, okay, women can also do this. You know? Okay. Yeah.
So in line to what you just said regarding women, do you have women in your life that inspire?
Oh, I have so many.
Yeah.
I have so many who inspire inclusion.
Yeah.
I feel like definitely I'll say my mom, because my mom is such a rock star with just running her own business and all of these things. So in the way that she inspires inclusion for me, it's that I know I'm capable of having my own thing, running my own thing, and I feel like she has set the stage where I am able to do things, not be scared. Like even things around money, you lose money, but you'll make more money. So in the way that she handles her money also inspires me in that way. And there are women who have held my hand, like in the organization where I work, Santec. I have women like Aisha, who's my direct manager, always inspiring inclusion in how she vouches for your abilities, or even in how she in herself stands up for what she believes is right, or puts up processes. So her in herself being who she is, I think that inspires other people to believe that me under her leadership, I'm able to do certain things. Women like Jahira, who I also work with, and she's in tech. Women like Andrea, who I also work with. So I have a lot of women who do that for me, who are older than myself. Then I also have you and Leah, and I feel like you ladies owning yourself. There's nothing as beautiful as owning your womanhood. I feel like that's a revelation I had this year. I'm just like, just own your femininity, own your womanhood, and that in itself is an inspiration. So
owning your womanhood.
Owning.
Ding.
Yeah.
I just realized this morning that I have a lot of female friends than male.
You do. You do.
You say it like it's a bad thing.
And Leah has a lot of male friends. So you guys balance each other. I mean, I don't know, a mix of both-ish. I don't know. Yeah.
So the good thing is, all the females in my life, they are inclusive in support. They include me, or rather, from work, by the way.
Yeah.
I realized that in my organization, there's more females than males. And like you said, I support what you said about your boss, your manager supporting you through all these steps. Recently, I think yesterday or the day before, my boss told me that I was a very good addition to the organization. I was like, so you're included in the operations aspect.
Yeah.
You feel included in everything that is happening in the organization. My mom is the biggest supporter. She's like, you have to make your own money. If we're making a decision, it's like, yes, so now how do we do this? Now this comes from growing up, because we would have maybe a sit down with the family, discuss everything. So you would feel included. I felt included from when I was young up to now. And then with you, my friends, you always include me in even things that I didn't even plan for. You know, like, Gina, we're doing this. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't say no, but it's tricky for me to say no because I know how fun. But the people that I'm surrounded with, they encourage the inclusiveness.
Yeah.
They encourage they inspire being included in rooms, being spoken about in a clear, good way. So you meet people for the first time, like, hi, yes, you have been in the planning process, you're part of. So yes, that is, I would say, the women in my life, all of the women in my life, I would say that they inspire inclusion for me.
And yet they say women bring other women down.
No,
that is a myth.
Speaking of the same, there is, you know how they say your female friends, don't invite your female friends to your man, don't invite your female friends to your... When other ladies tell these things to me, I'm like, what kind of friends do you have?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that has never been an alarm for us. Yeah. The women that I am around, they're like, I don't know if it's unwritten rules. I don't know if it's just we understand each other. We understand the depth of our friendship, because earlier today we realized that we've been 14 years of friendship.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Would you be able to throw away 14 years of friendship over?
But you need to renew your contract. Okay.
Why don't you renew your vows? Yours is vows, mine is contract. Okay. And then how do you think inclusion, what do you think the role of inclusion is in gender equality and equity?
Okay, so what is the role of inclusion
in achieving gender equality and equity?
That's a great question. So if we start with looking at just the reason why inclusion is important, first we know that what children mirror what they see us do, not exactly what you tell them, right? So from the book we usually mention, What Happened to You by Oprah and Dr. Perry, they talk about a child will watch what you're doing and do it, even if you're telling them to do the opposite of what you're doing. So inclusion, if you're looking at it from that angle, it means that as you embrace your femininity and your womanhood and you do all of these things that speak to who Rita is, as I do that, my younger sister is seeing it. Right? So like this time when she was home and then she was asking me, what do you do? And it was so hard for me to explain. So I was like, I work to make people more educated in technology, to come a laptop, and then she was like, who do you work with? And then I was like, I work with engineers. Who are engineers? So I had to start with basics, a person who's building, so like an architect, and then go engineer or barabara. And then I was like, so you see your barabara, there's a way you can create it virtually kwa laptop. It was such a hard conversation. But I know they got something. Because out of all of those things, she was like, but I would like to be a chef. And then I told her what being a chef means. And this is like an 8-year-old. So it means that they saw something that inspired them. So I feel like when we do things that both genders can see, so a boy is like, oh, I see my mom being supported by my dad to be able to go to work, and my dad is at home taking care of me. What does that tell the child? It means that there's space for equal household like responsibilities between the mom and the dad. So what does that mean for that person growing up? It means that we are more likely to have gender equality and gender equity. Right? And then when they see maybe their younger sister is being given more time, more attention when they have their periods, you know, when they are going through such things, it means that as they grow older, they understand why the girl child is being given a little bit more extra push than them, because there is some things that already disadvantage the girl child, right? So they get to now understand equity. So I feel like that inclusivity being seen from the grassroots enables the child to grow up learning, knowing, having this knowledge, and I think it will simplify this fight for gender equity and equality.
I actually agree with what you said, because when you have problems and you're only nursing the symptoms, you've not gotten to the root cause.
Exactly.
Now the root cause is when you're growing up, the inclusivity from when you're growing up. See, I have sisters and a brother. For example, if this is how they say it in your channel, only females can do this. So it encourages misogyny from a very young age. So as you nurture kids growing up, they see what you do, and then they would be able to like repeat the same thing over, even when they are older. Personally, growing up, I've seen both my parents doing the work. So there's no, this is a man's work, this is a female work. So I have been aligned on that. So it enables, or rather it encourages the gender equality when it comes to, this is not for females only, even a man can do this. Now that pushes it to, even in the workplace, in the workforce. When you look, there's a video that I saw. When you think of, there was kids of, I think 5 years, 4 years, 6 years, they were given a test. Draw a fireman, draw a paramedic, draw a nurse. So when it came to the fireman bit, they would draw a man. And then they were asked, why is there not a woman there?
Yeah.
Females cannot be firefighters. So there's inclusivity even in the workplace. When you nurture them from a young age, they will grow up knowing the world is my chessboard. I can be able to move however I want.
Anything.
Yes, I can do anything regardless of my gender.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to the work, we can perform the same. So gender equality, that one is promoted from a young age, like you've said. And when it grows with the individual as you're growing up, your mindset is more open. It's not fixed on this is the only thing I can do. You're not limited. Yeah. So another question is, what ways do you inspire inclusion for other women? Or how can we inspire inclusion?
How do I inspire inclusion for other women?
Okay, if I could go first.
Yes.
I have an example. I have a friend called Nell. Nell's mom passed last year. And when you get feedback, or I won't say feedback is so morbid, in the testimonials bit, when people are coming to speak about what you've done, because this is now in the area of how do you inspire inclusion for other women. Every single individual that gave a testimonial was, she took me to school, regardless of gender. She took me to school. She would find me in my uniform from school and ask me what I'm doing out. She would even cane me for not being in school.
Because other people's children.
Yes, she was a teacher, yes, but she made sure that you went to school. Because growing up for her, education was not as much, because women stay in the house. Men, they're the ones who are going to school because they're the ones who are going to earn the money. So she bridged that gap, and that is the legacy that she left behind regarding the women inclusion and all that. Now, if I could go back to my side now, my mom, there's a day I asked, I was at home, we were having a conversation. It was regarding, this is not in the workplace, it was regarding marriages and unions. So she told me her mom's era. Her mom's mom. Yes, my shosho's era now. They would organize. You as the lady, you're 17 years old, you're 18 years old. In short, you're a woman now. As per the standards. So your auntie would see you and think to themselves, you're already mature enough. And then they would get a guy who would be interested in you. Maybe the guy saw you in passing. And then they would...
They're looking for someone for you?
Yes. So now they would work with the auntie. Your mom does not know. They would work in cahoots with the auntie. And then the auntie would give you a call. Tell you, come help me in the farm. I'm harvesting maize. So you are on there was no... The cars there were... That era was kidogo. So you would walk to the shamba. Now in the process, you get kidnapped.
Huh?
Yes.
I thought the guy would come and
be
throw
stolen.
lines.
No. Lines, which lines? Which lines? So my mom was telling me her mom's era, I think my grandpa had a car. Because he was working in the airport at that time. So she was taken, kidnapped into the car, and then all the way to that guy's boma. You don't know where you've been taken. And then now when you get there, you would have to consummate whether you like it or not. Because you'd be put in the same house till morning.
The way I have a lot to say about it, but I won't.
Yes. So now, when she was telling me all this, I was cringing. So that was her mom's era. So as she was growing up, because she is the fourth born, but in girls, she's the first. The first girl. So she changed that for the following siblings. When it was her turn to get, like she was, yes, for lack of better words, she told her mom, I'm not. Because the auntie came, introduced this guy, said, you guys go meet, you guys go have a discussion. She's like, she went to the mom and was like, no, I don't want. I'm not interested. So the mom at that point was in a stage of listening. So by that point, they would include the women in the decision making. Because she told me, in the era of the shosho now, my shosho, if you're being dragged to your husband's place, any man can come to the road and cane you for not wanting to go. Like, why don't you want to go? Imagine. So now you can imagine how far we've come to a point where you as a woman right now, you're included in decision making. You're included in making a decision of your body, we are also work-wise. Work-wise, we have a lot of women now working in positions that were considered manly before. You find female engineers, you have female surgeons, you have female or even male. Male, they're even included in sections that we thought only women are able to do.
Yeah.
So we have come a long way in the inclusivity part.
Yeah.
So when we foster such environments for the young kids, we told them, as I said earlier, when you clear the board for them, you can be whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then you include even the women in the decision making. In every aspect, you're able to inspire it. And then it goes a long way because when you're inspired to make a decision now, you'll be able to enforce it or maybe inspire someone else to do that. Like right now, your young sister, she's able to know that this is open. I can be able to do that. So yeah, I would say we've come a long way in the inclusion, in decision making as women, in decision making in all aspects, in decision making regarding your body, regarding work.
Yeah, but I feel like this is also not to negate the fact that there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Because there's still a lot of areas within the country. Remember, like that time, Samburu, there's still a lot of areas that are not allowing a lot of women to come into themselves and own who they are, and in that way continue to inspire. So not to negate it, but I do feel like yes, we have come a very long way. You can imagine somebody kidnapping me to go and consummate. What was the question? I even forgot.
Nairobi will be at a standstill.
Hey yo.
So the question is, in what ways do you inspire inclusion for the women, and how can we inspire inclusion?
I think you've answered it really, really well. I feel like we've come such a long way, and there are women. We have how many governors? We have 7.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, 7.
Nakuru had the highest number of female elected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like the next step, because it's not enough that you are elected into power or that you have a certain role as a woman. I feel like the next step is to inspire other women to come on board and join you. So there's a quote that Leah put on Instagram a few days ago where if you're going somewhere, I think it's going somewhere good or somewhere, I can't remember, but the meaning was that if you're going somewhere good, somewhere progressive, if you're going to build something, carry someone along with you.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the same. I feel like what we lack, even in terms of our country, are people who are in leadership, even the women in leadership, having mentees, right?
Yeah.
Having mentees, young women mentees, and being like, I'm going to mentor these women, and then I'm going to put their names in spaces, in boardrooms, in whatever, so that I make sure that even as I leave, I've inspired somebody else to come on board, and I've inspired the powers that be to see that they should include this woman. So I feel like there's a lot that we can do that it's still pending. But yeah, things take time, but hopefully we will get somewhere.
I have another point regarding the women having, or rather the people in power having mentees. I would base it as not having a fixed mindset.
Yeah.
But sometimes you find you have a mindset where, you know how growing up, the mindset is not the same as 30 years back, 20 years back. The mindset now is not the same. But then it's the work comes in when you try to change someone else's mindset. Because that's always the first step. Once you're able to change someone's mindset, then everything else is easy. Because, say for example, like in workplaces, promotions, or even hiring. Do you know there's some ladies who go for interviews and then when they ask you for your age, you're like, I'm 27, I'm 29, they're like, They don't hire you. Why? Because they say you're in your prime years to give birth and then you leave, go nurture your kid and then come back. We do not want that kind of expense.
It's actually why somebody with a child, somebody with a child or somebody with a husband, a family, would more easily be promoted than a single lady or somebody who doesn't have a child.
Yeah. So it goes down to the mindset. If you change the mindset, you're able to move. Now this cuts across even in problem solving and everything. But when the mindset is fixed, that this is not what a woman can do, there's nothing you can do. Even in this work that we're yet to do regarding the inclusion, regarding women inclusion, equality, gender, there's no way we're going to bridge that gap if the person that we have to bridge that gap with does not see the benefit of all this. Now, this aligns with the last questions that I have. What are some of the ways you think there's been a lack of inclusion, but it's such a norm, and in ways that how can we change that?
That's a hard question because I feel like there are so many things happening to include women. In what ways there's?
You think there's been a lack of inclusion and it's been made normal?
Normal.
Yeah.
That's a hard one, but I feel like one that I would point out, I don't want to say, because I feel like, for example, like the organizations I've been fortunate enough to work for have a good balance of, male, female. Because it's not a male-female fight.
Yeah.
It's just that we want people to have an equal play field. Though it can't be equal because, of course, some genders, like female gender, need a little bit more push. But yeah, you get the gist. So I don't know if there are areas where I feel like women haven't been included, like not been included, but I feel like women should be more included. It's things like parliament. I feel like sometimes it gets me very worked up. When I see a man come and provide a solution for something that is affecting a woman. I understand that you've gone and read all of the books, but how you communicate is the most important or the most critical thing. So if I come to you and tell you this is the way to go in terms of your periods, if Lewis comes and tells you this is the way to go in terms of your periods, who will you believe?
The woman.
Exactly. So I feel like there is still work that needs to be done so that we are able to take some of these conversations to the grassroots using figures that people in the grassroots can understand. So in terms of having women in leadership, I think there is still a lot of work that needs to be done. There is not enough, especially in our government setup.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of limitations around that. I'm very passionate about it because I'm always like, the way that some of these politicians come and communicate things around female health, female reproductive health, I'm always like, I would listen more to a woman because I know she relates to me.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot that needs to be done. If you're aiming to do things around that, things around women, then have a woman lead the charge. That communication will go down easier than a man. Itakuwa kama mincemeat na lamb kubwa ya nyama. I'd rather eat mincemeat than your lamb kubwa ya nyama.
Okay. Well, for me, ways I think there's been a lack of inclusion and it's made normal, I would say, first I'd say we are evolving.
Yeah. We
are evolving, and every day with the mindsets changing, there's the inclusivity. Initially, it was regarding, from where I would say it from, the one that I saw most was in the reproductive section. Like, your man is to determine when you're supposed to, like, have babies in your mind. When, like, I want a child, get the child. Yes, like, a woman was not able to make a decision, like, this is my body.
Yeah.
This is the struggle that I will be going through because I'm not carrying the baby. But now the man would want the child.
Yeah.
And even the society plays a big part in this, because when you're married, and then now your society is like, baby.
Yeah, I've actually had people telling me, oh, you guys, no, it's the next step. Where is the baby? Like, when I go home, some of my aunts are like,
it's been made into such a norm for relatives and society to be like, oh, the next step. And it should not be made normal, because what should be made normal is you're an individual. You have your own decisions. Your partner has their own decisions. You can make decisions based on. So this collectively should just change. Though I have said we've come a long way, because now I'd say the evolution has happened from. But it's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
I would say we still have a long way to go.
And on that note, It's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. Please let us know who are the women in your life who have inspired inclusion. They can be women you see on TV like Sylvia Mulinge, like Kehinde Smith. They can be women you see, and they can be women just close to you, like your friends. So who inspires inclusion for you? Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful Women's Month, and I hope you feel seen, appreciated, and really, really valued. See ya.
Bye.